got 7 games plus 180, 6 games goes plus 200. You brave enough to plus 650, sprinkle a little bit of that in there for 4 games, a little sweep?
I think if both teams are healthy, then I don't think we're seeing 4 or 5 games. So I would go with either 6 or 7. And I think if I'm picking the Warriors, I like them to close it out on their home floor in a game 7. It brings back some bad memories for the Warriors in terms of finals historically, but I think they do get the job done in a game 7 at home this time around. And for the first time this postseason, Boston will lose a game 7. So I'll take 7 games in this one. I think unless there's a material change like injuries, I don't think we're seeing 4 or 5 games in this series.
Yeah, Nick, an early series lead, too, for the Warriors will ultimately be, or could be, too much to overcome for the Celtics. And maybe like 6 games here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think 6 games probably makes the most sense. That's plus 200 at the DK Sportsbook. Like you said, 7 games plus 180. It's like Chinmay said, too, it's hard to mount an argument for why this would be a 4 or 5 game series. It would almost have to be injury related. However, if Golden State comes out, they'll be well rested. They look great in game 1. Let's say they win that in a romp, and all of a sudden they go up 2-0 at home in the series. Like, that's when maybe you could see this spiraling a little bit, just because Boston doesn't necessarily have that same level of experience. The Golden State's core has been making these runs since 2015. And Boston's been to the Eastern Conference Finals a few times. It's not like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Al Horford and Marcus Smart have never accomplished anything, but they haven't done it on this level quite yet. So it would be really interesting, I think, if Golden State specifically would be able to go up 2-0 at home. How does Boston respond? Do they still have that same resilience that they showed against Miami and Milwaukee? Because as formidable as those opponents are, I think Chinmay is right that Golden State is for sure going to be the toughest test that Boston faces, especially, I think, on the defensive end. The amount of weapons that Golden State has relative to a Miami team that was banged up, a Milwaukee team that was out without Chris Middleton, and even a Brooklyn Nets team in round 1 that was clearly a lot more out of sorts, I think, than we expected it to be. But overall, barring an injury, I think we see this being another back and forth series. I think I would bet 6 games. Would not be surprised at all if we get a game 7 at the Chase Center.